We're still foraging to stay alive during the coming collapse. Aloe vera. I harvested this when I went to see my grandson down at sea level. It doesn't grow where I live. So, forager's tip, when you go visit someplace that's different from where you live, you need to keep your eyes out. If it's someplace you go regularly, like I do, you need to start identifying what's there that you can eat. By foraging now, as the economy is collapsing, not only are you sharpening your skill sets, you're finding things to eat that are far better for you, I dare say, than anything that you can go out and get in most grocery stores. Aloe vera, I brought a bunch of it back. I just cut it into pieces about this big, stuck it in a jar with water, and brought it back with me. And this aloe vera will keep you alive. It will save your life. It's got vitamin A, C, E, B12, zinc, copper, selenium, calcium, polyphenols. I'm trying to think. It has about 75 different vitamins and minerals. Super good for you as a food source. And when the collapse comes, the foods that will probably be most available are going to be things like dried foods, rice, beans. So if you are able to get your hands on some grains and you add aloe vera, this will provide the nutrition better than a vitamin, better than any vitamins if it's fresh. So first, on foraging to stay alive in a pre-industrialized situation, because remember, as we talked about, when people can't afford to buy food because it's going to take a wheelbarrow full of cash, the dollar's collapsing, to get food, they won't be able to pay their electric bill. Even if you can still pay your electric bill, other people will not be able to. And as soon as a certain amount of people stop paying their bill, whole grid goes down. A big electric company needs money coming in. And that grid cannot just shut down and turn back on, even if the economy, which is doubtful, but even if the economy did turn back on. So let's keep learning things we can eat, because when Americans stop spending money, the food is going to stop being shipped here from China. It has to be profitable for, obviously, the companies bringing the food. And most Americans, if they don't go into the grocery store and there's not food to be had, they're going to be at a loss. Most Americans will not be looking at the aloe vera plant. Some might, but most won't. So there's going to be food for you there. If you didn't see my videos on curly dock, what else did we do? Chicory root, rose hips. I taught you about harvesting ginger, and we even talked a little bit about pine bark flower. So if you didn't see any of my other videos, go back and watch them, because there is an abundance of food all around you. And the benefit to you by knowing these things now, by following my advice and finding out what the indigenous people who originally lived in your area ate, by finding that out and finding out what other plants that maybe were not indigenous but people have brought in, like aloe vera, you'll begin to identify food sources in your area. And when you travel like me, by all means, keep your eyes out. If it's someplace you go often, begin to identify things that you can forage while you're in different ecosystems. So as far as the aloe vera, just harvesting it to stay alive, easy peasy. Get yourself something like this. It's a peeler. It's a good, sturdy peeler. You're going to want good tools that aren't going to break. Get yourself some good tools, because this all-consuming American lifestyle is coming to an end. So you'll want to start buying things that are solid. So I basically took a spoon. I like to use this one because it's got the little melon pointy thing. I scooped the aloe vera out after slicing the top off. I put it through the cone with this matching pestle. See, the aloe vera came out there. I'm taking this thing, and just on that note of getting things that will last, this was my grandmother's. It's from the 1930s. Most of you probably have never seen one of these, but your grandmother or great-grandmother would have known exactly what it was. This is used. This is your pre-blender. If you wanted to make mayonnaise or churn a little butter by hand, you would have used something like this. So when you get quality products and you take care of them, you will have them. So you need to start thinking about durable items that do not require the grid, so that when the grid goes down, you'll still be able to process food. This, remember I showed you, if you hadn't seen the earlier video on fermenting ginger, we talked about making ginger ale with fermented ginger as a superfood and a probiotic. So I just popped the ginger in there like that. You just grind it. I added it here. I added some citrus here. The citrus will act as a preservative. So if you want to store it in a cool, dark place, make a big batch of it and have it for a week, you could do that. The ginger is just another, I always have ginger on hand. When I have it, I toss it in everything, and I never get sick. I never get sick because I eat a lot of ginger, citrus, rose hips, and things that are superfoods like the aloe vera. So thank you for joining me on this segment. Remember, as always, and I'm going to keep harping on you, get yourself a recipe box like this and start writing things down, because you're going to be at a loss when there's no grid and you can't charge your phone, or when you can't afford to buy bread, you won't be able to pay your phone bill, and you're not going to be able to just Google things up. So begin to write things down. I'm going to post a recipe, and if you stay tuned for the next video, I'm going to teach you how to make aloe vera and aloe vera balm with colloidal silver as a medicinal topical application. Write things down and get some books for your book library. And again, get yourself some pre-industrial tools so you're ready.